It is written in Genesis 6 that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, chose the daughters of men for themselves, and made love with them. There are only 5 references in the Bible to sons of God. In the days before the devastating flood, God sent to earth 200 beings from his army of angels. Today we will talk about the angels who fell and chose the evil side. Why did they begin the war against humanity and goodness, and how did Noah and the flood have an effect on them? In the course of their story, a myth about giants developed, a myth that hundreds of years later affected the Israelites after they left Egypt, as did King David. So, who are the fallen angels, or as we know them, sons of God? Let's begin. The NEPHILIM are angels who fell from heaven to the world with the purpose of correcting it, during the days of Enos' generation. However, according to what is written in Genesis, they messed with the daughters of men who were beautiful and could not conquer their Maker, and by doing so, they overthrew the world, and caused the destruction of the world by the flood. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal, their days will be 120 years. The NEPHILIM were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them." Genesis 6 verses 2-4. The sons of God united within themselves all the fallen angels, and together with humans who followed them became the sons of darkness. The fallen angels contain several groups of angels who all betrayed the Most High God. The first group of angels who were thrown out of heaven were those who betrayed God, and Satan. Satan was proud and towered over the other angels because of his high rank and because of his unique and spectacular appearance. He tried to become God when he claimed to the other angels that he was the one who created them, and they should thank him, and worship him. This group of angels were thrown out of the kingdom of heaven together with Satan to 5 places. To hell, to the ocean, to the forests of the earth, to the north of the earth, and those who remained suspended between heaven and earth. In the 10 Commandments, God commanded, "You shall have no other gods before me." Exodus 20 verse 3. And to make it clear, immediately in the words that followed he expanded on this in a commandment. "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below." Exodus 20 verse 3. This is in relation to the places where the fallen angels were thrown. In this verse, the commandment is addressed to fallen angels, who have been worshipped by various cultures around the world as various idols. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, God is angry with the king of Tyre, and compares him to Satan, who was proud and arrogant in his high rank and due to his spectacular appearance, and therefore sends him the prophet Ezekiel to tell him the parable of Satan, and that he too will end up like Satan. "Son of man, take up a lament concerning the king of Tyre and say to him, This is what the sovereign Lord says, You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God, every precious stone adorned you, carnelian, chrysolite and emerald, topaz, onyx and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold, on the day you were created they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God, you walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Through your widespread trade you were filled with violence, and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth, I made a spectacle of you before kings. Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17. Likewise, in the book of Isaiah chapter 14, God sends the prophet to tell the king of Babylon the parable of Satan, because of his pride, his intentions to resemble God, and because of his actions, he was thrown from heaven, and the end of the king of Babylon will be the same. The second group of angels who were thrown from the kingdom of heaven, were those who came down to the world with the purpose of doing justice and teaching people to do good, but that was not the case. They fell into the trap of Satan, and the descendants of Cain. They took human form and made love with the daughters of men, begetting offspring for them. After this sin of theirs, they were expelled from the kingdom of heaven. The fallen angels became an enemy of humans. On the other hand, the sons of Seth, the sons of Enoch and Noah were the salvation. They brought useful knowledge that brings peace and contentment to the world, and they spread the light of God and the truth. In this way, it continued to the dynasty of the sons of Shem, continuing on to the sons of Abraham. In contrast to the fallen angels, the holy angels, who did not betray God, continued to help all mankind, especially those who worshipped God. The fallen angels taught everything that angered God, such as creating weapons of war to kill humans, human sacrifices, festivals of fornication and debauchery, idolatry, sorcery, magic, and other evils that led to mass destruction. The sons of light taught God's commandments, created laws that would make peace between humans, created impenetrable frameworks for the devil, taught the laws of the Bible, educated people to be humble, to do kindness and non-competitiveness, assistance to the weak, and more. The Israelites, who carried this light, have since time immemorial become a target for the fallen angels who saw them as a definite enemy. The fallen angels too easily took over the hearts of the kings of the world, who did not know the laws of God, and always tried to destroy Israel, but God did not leave Israel, even though they sinned. He raised up leaders for them like Moses, Joshua, King David and other prophets to pray and fight for them. The fallen angels have no love for a black person, nor for a white or colored person. They hate man, because God created him in his image. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." Genesis 1 verse 26. King David describes the war of the fallen angels in the following prayer. Roaring lions that tear their prey open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax, it has melted within me. Psalm 22 verses 13 to 14. King David, who knew that the fallen angels like to present themselves in various forms of evil that frighten people, prayed to God to save him from what appeared in the form of a lion, and would devour his soul. Or they will tear me apart like a lion. Psalm 7 verse 2. In another verse, he describes God's help by sending an angel to trample down the fallen angels who come, among other things, in the form of a serpent, a lion. You will tread on the lion and the cobra, you will trample the great lion and the serpent. Psalms 91 verse 13. The story of the NEPHILIM developed, and became a story of giants. The NEPHILIM mentioned in Genesis, are the same NEPHILIM mentioned in the story of the spies sent by Moses. According to the Hebrew commentators, Sion and Og, the brothers of the giants, were the sons of Shamzai, who fell from the sky in the days of Enos. According to the unfolding of the biblical story, Og the king of Bashan survived the flood by a miracle. Enos was born in 235 BC and lived 905 years, so, he died in 1140 BC, while the flood was in 1656 BC, and the spies of Moses were active in 2448 BC. Even if they fell from the sky at the end of Enos's days, They were in the days of spies 1,515 years old, and how did they not drown in the flood? There is no record in the entire Bible of a person living more than 1,000 years. Therefore, it is more likely to assume that the two events are not the same giants. Stories about the height and strength of the Nephilim spread after the flood. According to the commentators, spies scared the people when they saw giants, like the Nephilim who lived in Noah's time. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. Genesis 6 verse 4. And because they knew the story of the Nephilim who were in the generations of Noah, they reminded them that these were the sons of giants to be afraid of and be careful, and so they said, "We saw the Nephilim there. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." Numbers 13 verse 33. Therefore, between the giants and the Nephilim, the sons of God, there is an essential connection in their actions, but they are not related to the same angels in Genesis 6. The war of the fallen angels with humans is on all levels: international, national, community, family, and of course also on a personal level every day. Due to the hatred of fallen angels for humans, the word Satan has become linked with the word enemy. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much and see you next time.